Welcome in another edition of the Dirt Racing Podcast. Let's get started.
In this part of the episode, we did have some little recording issues, so we were having troubles. We were talking online to each other to do this, but we did have. Did you hear me? So it's not the best, but it still works. So thanks again to Chris for helping us out.
Take two. Welcome to the Dirt Racing Podcast. We're talking with the guest from last week, Chris Krug, on the Late Model Nationals. How's it going, Chris?
Doing great, man. Great to be back home again after a great weekend, and thanks for having me back on.
We got lucky Thursday night when 55 cars entered.
Yeah, we did. We beat the weather, and we had a great show on Thursday night. It was a tremendous race. The racing action all weekend long ended up being really well.
Yeah. Anyways, the only major problem that night, Jared Landers was done for the weekend.
Yeah, that was a real shame. Landers always ran really well at Knoxville. Of course, he pulled out on Saturday. I remember correctly, he competed on Friday, if I remember correctly, but he pulled out on Saturday with some major issues and just went home for the weekend. That's really unfortunate for, to lose a big name like that. Especially at an event like this, it's unfortunate because of the car count isn't quite where we want to be just yet, and it was a tough break for Jared that weekend.
Yeah, and then the other major setback was Jonathan Davenport. I don't know what he broke, but the old six-pack car wasn't looking too good.
No, not at all. Of course, he came out with the Brewster Baker paint scheme from Six Pack, the old 1970s movie there for dirt track racing. The car looked really great all night on Thursday night, and of course got in that incident on Friday on Thursday night, and had to switch to the other car for the rest of the weekend there. But unfortunate break for him because he's never had too much luck at Knoxville, and we really thought maybe this was the weekend it was going to happen, but not meant to be for the number one driver in the world according to the DOD rankings.
Yeah, and then the one I'm surprised that ran well all weekend was Tyler Bruni.
Yeah, he looked really good for the majority of the weekend. Never competed on Saturday night for the front, but still a consistent win for him. And it looked great in the process. And I think that's going to be a great career for Tyler moving forward. You'll see his name a lot nationally coming up here soon, and it's going to be interesting to see how he does the rest of this season and maybe where he lands for a ride heading into next year.
And then Thursday night, his teammate ended up winning, Shane Clanton.
Oh, that's correct. Yeah, Shane got the job done, and that meant he was the one and only driver that was going to be able to try and get the impossible, and that's get the clean sweep Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Didn't happen on Friday night, but man, Shane looked really good on Thursday night. He never really had any issues at all when look at the whole entire night, but. The rest of the night there, the weekend for Shane at least, was really a great story, I thought, heading into that one. Tyler Erb finished second, obviously, with the Thursday night preliminary, and then the 2013 winner, Darrell Lanigan, came home third Thursday night. But, the names that were up toward the front there, Ricky Wise, who won Friday night, obviously was up in the top five. Ricky Thornton Jr., who's a massive name in Iowa and really has a great following, ran really well that weekend as well on Thursday night. But it was a great run for Shane.
And then it was the same exact program Friday night as Thursday night, and like you said, Ricky.
Oh, Marshall, I lose you again?
No, I'm here.
There we go. I got you. Okay, no worries, man. No worries.
Yeah. Ricky ended up winning it. It was the exact same program.
Yeah, it was a good run for Ricky as well. Looking at the Friday night's feature, he had a top five on Thursday night. And then you look at the Friday night feature and how things started that night as well. It's almost like it was two completely different shows almost, even though you combine the points and everything. But it was still a great run for Ricky. on Friday night, and I think it was one of the bigger upsets, I think, personally, that we've seen in a while at Knoxville. Ricky's a big-time Wasota driver, and also only the third Canadian to ever win a race at the Knoxville Raceway, regardless of what kind of car he's running there. But we also had, I think last year we had Thomas Kennedy, who's a Canadian driver in the sprint car ranks, pick up a win there as well. But it was great to see Ricky do so well there. And then, of course, with Chris Madden and Josh Richards, your podium on Friday night.
And then Saturday we added 32 other cars to the fun.
We did. Saturday with the Knoxville Nationals the past 2 years and moving forward, I think is going to be one of my favorite events, and it was the past 2 years. It's so great to see that Melbourne Bank Series, a series I follow pretty close back home in Nebraska out here. To see those guys have put on a good show like they did there. And I really think, that's going to be an impressive show moving forward for drivers as well, and one that they're going to fight for pretty hard. I was a little hurt that Josh Leonard couldn't get the win there, but it was still just an incredible run there for Josh and everybody else. And, we'll see how it goes moving forward.
Yeah, and then but our good old friend the Rain showed up during the B main for the big show.
It did. The rain came in, and unfortunately, it looked like it was going to be maybe the end of the night. But thankfully, it came in. It rained, moved out. It actually, if anything, it made the track better. I think anyway. And it's interesting to see how that goes the rest of the events moving forward, how we handle rain, because it's such a hit and miss thing there, especially the fall at Knoxville Raceway. And I'll be interested to see next year with this event going on again, if we get an increased car count going on, and how the Melbourne Bank Series does as well. And maybe that becomes more of a bigger show as well.
And then so they had the rain delay, came back, ran the rest of the B, then ran the other race, and then when it got time for the 100 laps, it was wild.
It was crazy. It was a great show. There's no question about that. Of course, it was great to see Jimmy Owens pick up his second one in Knoxville. That's two in a row. Only one driver to ever do that was another Tennessean, Mike Marlar. And it seems like the Tennessee boys just have something for Knoxville every single year. They run really well there. And Jimmy Owens became the fourth ever driver to win this event twice, and the second ever driver to win it back-to-back years. So that was great to see. And you really get the feeling that maybe Brendan Shepard was going to win this thing and get the job done. But he led for a while, but Jimmy just found the right groove, the right time, and checked out for a minute. Those closing laps were pretty exciting to watch with Brendan Shepard closing in toward the end there, but he just couldn't quite get it done.
But there were couple big accidents in that. The first one, trying to go 3 wide with the Clint Boyer teammates and Tim McCready.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. I also think with McCready crashing, and then, of course, Josh Richards as well had an issue there as well with Josh. It was another weekend where we had talked to Josh in our Facebook interview for the Knoxville Raceway Facebook page during the driver's interview. Everyone wants to know, is this the year it's going to get done? Because Josh Richards has led the most laps and has the most top 5 finishes and most runner-up finishes at the Knoxville Nationals without ever winning it. So, it was a shame to see him finish. I think he finished 25th on the night because he got that accident there. But, he was never really in contention to begin with on Saturday night when that green flag dropped. He was moving toward the front a little bit, but he wasn't his usual self. The past 2 seasons have been pretty rough for Josh Richards at the Knoxville Raceway.
Yeah, and then the other one was running well, and then all of a sudden it bit him the cushion was Ricky Thornton.
Oh, hey there, Marshall?
Yeah. Did you hear a word I said?
Oh, I got you. There we go. Okay, there we go.
Did you hear what I just said about Ricky?
I did not. No, I apologize.
I said the cushion bit him when he was running about 4th.
Yeah, it did. It jumped. And the thing with Knoxville's cushion is that, that clay, it's a tacky clay. Even on a dry slick track, it can still be a little tacky up in the marbles there and not really that dry. So, it's easy to go ahead and hit that cushion and jump over it pretty easily. But unfortunate for Ricky to hit that cushion there and kind of upset the car a little bit. Win.
Yeah. you still?
Another driver too. I got you. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, and another driver that looked really well when that was coming out with Ricky Weiss again was Shane Clanton, who led for a little while there on that Saturday at A-Main, but couldn't quite get it done.
Yeah, and then they announced the dates for next year already.
Yep, going to be at the same time of year next year. You can go ahead and get your tickets online at KnoxvilleRaceway.com. You can order those now. Of course, it's the same weekend. It's that second weekend of September in there. And get the tickets ordered now. Get your reservations going now because it's becoming a fan favorite event at the Knoxville Raceway. And, of course, I'm sure we'll have more information on Melbourne Bank as the time goes on as well.
Yeah, and then the other thing I like about the fuel stop, and I wish they would do it with the Sprint Car Nationals, no tire change period.
Yeah, it was only fuel. You couldn't even pick a piece of dirt off the front of the car. It was literally only fuel, and I don't believe we had any issues with that on Saturday night. But it was fuel only. Can't do anything else. Can't change the tires or anything. And that's something that with sprint cars are a little bit different there because tires can tend to go away a lot faster on a sprint car than they do a late model. So you make a few adjustments there. Sprint cars, I don't believe they have another 50-lap race at all. They have a 40-lap race at the Kings Royal, which at times, if caution laps go long at the Kings Royal, they'll do a fuel stop, but generally they don't do one for that either. So it's interesting to see, the late model side of that with just fuel on there for sure.
And the other thing you could do is change helmets, if I remember right. Can you still hear me?
I think I lost you again there, Marshall.
Okay. I said the other thing I know, pretty sure you can change helmets, and that's about it.
Hey, Marshall, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What I was saying.
No, I got you. Okay.
I was saying the helmets was about the only other change.
Yeah. The helmets for the drivers and that stop. Yeah, that was about it. I think we had a few drivers take advantage of that as well, but it was nothing major that you could really do outside of just that fuel stop there. As James Essex even said, you can't even touch a piece of dirt off the car. It's literally going to be just the helmets and the fuel.
Yeah, we appreciate. That's all we got for that. Appreciate your time. Hopefully, see you down the road.
Absolutely, Marshall. Anytime you want to have me on, please give me a call. I'm happy to help out.
All right, thanks.
You're very welcome, Marshall. Have a good one.
Normal. Welcome to the Dirt Racing Podcast. Today we have a special guest, Bob Baker, to help us explain the induction process. How's it going, Bob?
Marshall, thanks for having us on the show today. It's always our pleasure to talk about the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum and our induction process. We're very, very fortunate that our induction process has been mentioned and awarded several praises from the International Sports Heritage Association, which is a group of Hall of Fame clubs and members across not just the United States, but North America. There's groups from hockey teams from Mexico and Canadian hockey and Canadian golf and different sports. And they meet annually and talk about their induction process. And we've been very fortunate at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, and that our two-step process for induction is something that very many of the newer Hall of Fames are starting to modernize or to accept the process that we have. Our induction process is really very simple. We have an even number of National Induction Committee members. There's 72 people who make the decisions and do the voting, and they're evenly divided across the United States of America. There's 18 voters on the West Coast out towards California, 18 voters in the Midwest here in the process that in the section of the country that we're in, 18 voters in the Mideast, and 18 voters on the East Coast. And so all these 72 National Induction Committee members get a blank nomination ballot in September, and following the rules and guidelines for induction that they have, they can nominate anybody that they like that meets the criteria on the nomination ballot. For more information for people listening, you can go to sprintcarhof.com, which is our website. and check out our induction process. And also there's a link on there on how to suggest or put somebody's name up for consideration for induction. The general public really can't nominate anybody, but they can suggest names for consideration to the National Induction Committee, and then those voters can nominate the people they feel are worthy. We get those nomination ballots back in October. The top vote getters on the nomination ballot make the final ballot. That's the second step. And then the top vote getters on the final ballot are inducted into the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame the following year. And we announce all of our inductees every year at the Chili Bowl midget races indoors down in Tulsa, Oklahoma in January. So it's a little bit of a lengthy process. It starts with the letters of consideration have to be mailed in to us here at the Hall of Fame by Labor Day. Then 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later in September, we mail those out to the National Induction Committee for them to make the nominations. The nominations are then returned back to the Hall of Fame, tallied up for the final ballot that goes out in November. And then once that goes out, we wait for the final ballots to be returned and make the announcement in January at the Chili Bowl. So it's a two-step process. It's very well thought out. And the thing is that makes it fair for everybody is that our voters are evenly spread out across the country. So people can't say that, well, we're just inducting people from the Midwest or from Iowa or Nebraska or South Dakota, or likewise for California or Pennsylvania, because there's 18 voters in each of the 4 regions, which make up the 72 members of the National Induction Committee. So it does take a little bit of time to sort through it on the website, but you can clearly see the rules and regulations that are established. You know, one of them is you have to be at least 50 years old to be considered for induction into the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. And a lot of people will ask me, Bob, how come so-and-so hasn't been inducted yet? Or isn't it time that such and such driver or a mechanic or a racetrack promoter or photographer hasn't been inducted? And what I tell people is that just because somebody's not been inducted yet, that doesn't mean they will never be inducted. It just means they haven't been inducted yet. Our National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum will be here for many years after most of us are gone, long gone. And so it's reassuring to know that we have the voters in place. The voters are very knowledgeable. They're not really just race fans. They're people who've written books, who've authored books, people who have been members of old-time committees, old-time fan clubs. They're people who have been around the sport for many years, and they're very knowledgeable people. They're not necessarily the super fan, but they are great fans of our sport, and they're dedicated to doing the right thing and nominating and voting the right people in to the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. So I hope that answers some of the questions that you're going to ask me, Marshall. I know I get a little carried away when I talk about it. We're pretty passionate about it.
And then you pretty much summed that up. Any new projects eventually going to be down the line here?
We have several projects that we have on our drawing board here at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. But right now, our main project is, as you well know, paying for the construction of the Brian Clausen Suite Tower. That's our number one priority right now is to get that building paid for so we don't have the construction bills and the interest looming over the future of the Hall of Fame. We've come a long way in the 1 year and 5 months since the building's been up. We opened the building last April before opening night, April of 2018. So this was our second full season with the Brian Clausen Suite Tower. All the suites are leased, so it's operating at 100% occupancy, which is exactly what we intended for it when we opened it up. We just have to finish paying for the construction, and then we can move on. There's other things in sprint car racing around honoring our sports high achievers with our National Sprint Car Hall of Fame inductions and our programs we have, like our raffle sprint car and the new Corvette giveaways that we do. There's other programs like that we would like to begin, but I think, again, our first priority is to get that building paid for. I don't really think we're going to see any new buildings or like we've seen the last 3 to 5 years here at the Hall of Fame. We built the staging and storage building right across from our parking lot. We built the Brian Clausen Suite Tower. We acquired the archive building on Larson Street. So we're up, if you include the Rib Shack, we're up to 5 buildings now. So I really don't think the next project is going to be a building project as far as a physical building. But I think building on the programs that we have and the way that we honor our inductees and the things that we have in place, improving those programs will be our next steps.
Then can you talk about maybe is the Salute to Champions going to continue?
The Salute to Champions has 1 more year left in it. Our plan is to go 10 years with that program. Next year, our Salute to Champion will be our last year. We started with Tony Stewart 9 years ago, so next year will be our last year. Then we're going to switch over to another program the following year. Hopefully it will have a good 10-year run, just like the Salute the Champion program.
You know who it is. Yeah.
We do know who our next Salute the Champion is, but we have not announced it yet. It'll probably be after the first of the year when we officially announce who our driver for our final Salute the Champion will be next year. That will probably run just like this year's exhibit from May through October 1st. We'll have the drivers, race cars, memorabilia, helmets, driving uniforms, things that we've had in the past, along with the videos and some other surprises that we haven't had in the past. So it's going to be a great way to close out the 10 years of our Salute the Champions exhibits.
When you announce it, would you be willing to announce it here too?
Sure, we'd be glad to.
And then the Chili Bowl you guys go to. What's some of the other races you guys attend?
Well, the next major event that we will attend this year will be the World Finals. And we will go to the World Finals in Charlotte the beginning of November. And after that, we will go to the indoor race in St. Louis, the Gateway Nationals. We'll do that race weekend, and then we'll go, I think it's the weekend before that, we're at the PRI, the Performance Racing Industry Trade Show in Indianapolis. We go from Indianapolis to St. Louis, and then we have a couple weeks off for Christmas, then we go straight to Tulsa for the Chili Bowl. So we stay pretty busy. In addition to while we're on the road with those programs, of course, we have Christmas going on at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame Museum. And for many of you know about our store here and our online store, sprintcarstuff.com, we have the world's largest selection of sprint car merchandise in the world. And so if you're not able to physically Christmas shop here in our store in Knoxville, in Turn 2 at Knoxville Raceway, you can go online to sprintcarstuff.com. And we usually run about 2 to 3 UPS trucks a day out of the museum with sprint car presents that are shipped all around the world for people. So it's a great way for the race fan on your list to find something for Christmas. You know, whether it's a puzzle, a jacket, a hoodie, jewelry for a girlfriend or your wife, we've got something for everybody. Our new 2020 calendars just came in and they look beautiful. We think it's one of the nicest calendars we've had since we started about 5 years ago. So we're real excited about our new calendars. We still have about 70 of our AJ Foyt members only diecast cars left. And honestly, I don't know if we will still have those by Christmas time or not. We ordered 400 of those. We've sold about 430. They're selling really well. So I don't know if we'll still have those AJ Foyt members only diecast cars at Christmas time, but I know we'll have lots of other merchandise in for people to shop and find something for their loved one for Christmas.
And speaking of, I'm probably going to do the Christmas guide, so I know I'll be in to see what the merchandise is to suggest.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun when we do that, but a lot of behind the scenes work takes place before we can get that Christmas guide out. We still have to do inventory, and our fiscal year here at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame ends September 30th. October 1st starts our 2020 year here at the Hall of Fame. So besides doing our physical inventory, we have an audit that independent auditors come in and audit us every year. Being a 501c3 nonprofit, we want to make sure that we're doing everything, exactly right the way the law wants it done, so that everybody's donations are tax deductible to the fullest extent of the law. And we never want to lose our 501c3 status. So we're very particular about the paperwork and making sure that we do everything, legally that we need to retain our nonprofit status. So that all happens before we get to start working on the Christmas guide in October. And we like to get that Christmas guide in the mail to everybody the first or second week in November. So it doesn't leave a lot of time to decide what we want to put in to make sure we can get that inventory in stock, and then to get those Christmas guides printed and mailed to everybody by the first or second week in November. So people know that we don't have any races going on, but I don't think they understand how busy we are with just the business of operating the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum on a year-round basis. But it's all good. The museum is doing well. The donations are still coming in, thank goodness, for the Brian Clausen Sweet Tower. We're looking forward to new projects ahead after the Brian Clausen Sweet Tower is paid for. And sprint car racing is in a very good position right now. We just need to keep moving forward. And as our longtime supporter, Don Lamberti, would say, we need to keep our foot on the gas and keep going.
And then any information, they can always call you for how to donate and all that.
Sure. Anybody that's interested in making a donation can call me anytime here at the museum. Our phone number is 641-842-6176, or they can go online to our website. A lot of people like to make anonymous donations or just like to do it from the comfort of their laptop or their phone. You can make a donation at SprintCar HOF for Hall of Fame, SprintCarHOF.com, and there's a button on there that you click to donate. You can make a donation right off of your cell phone, your tablet, or your computer any time of the day or night you'd like to. But if we can help, if you have questions that need to be answered, we're glad to help any way we can. If you need any type of legal help, we're glad to help with that and work with anybody that, needs help structuring a donation or any type of thing they'd like to donate to us. It doesn't always have to be cash. Some people donate lots of things that aren't cash that come in pretty handy sometimes. So we're open to just about anything.
We appreciate your time. Anytime you'd like to come on, you may.
Well, thank you so much, Marshall, for having us on today. And it's a little hectic here. As you know, in Knoxville, we've got the Knoxville Late Model Nationals going on this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And it's one of the second largest races that Knoxville hosts every year. We look out here over turn 2 at the infield. Looks like the infield's full of race cars, trailers, and trucks. So everybody's in place for the races. We need a little bit of cooperation from the weatherman for Thursday night. Friday and Saturday looks spectacular weather-wise. So if you're on your way to Knoxville, you won't be disappointed with the weather in the mid-70s and the sunny skies Friday and Saturday.
Thanks.
Thank you for having me.
A special shout out to the IMC Dairy Brothers Summer Series on their 500th this Saturday 34 race race in Burlington, Iowa. Out of the 499 races that ran, only one driver, Marshalltown, France, has been all races. So congratulations on your 500th. A new segment to the Dirt Racing Podcast, and the video is on the Facebook page, is Songer Says. Here's this week's Songer Says.
Guess who's back? That's right, Songer Says. On this new podcast, I got asked to do some Songer Says. Been a long, long time since I've done anything. You know why? Because most people are a bunch of butt-hurt bitches. So let's just get 3 things straight right away. Number 1, I'm going to offend maybe 60 to 70% of you, at least once in every video. Number 2, I don't freaking care if you're offended. And number 3, if you don't like me, don't watch me. So, I thought, hey, what better way to jump into the first Songer Says than let's just jump right into it. Sanctioning bodies. Yeah. USRA versus IMCA versus Minnesota versus, I don't know, the Toms down south. Who cares? Just because this sanctioning body is better for you doesn't mean it's better for everybody. And a sanctioning body that wants to work with the other sanctioning body and maybe, make some alternate rules or make this work so these guys from the other sanctioning body come over, hey, that's a great thing, not a bad thing. I mean, think of it like life. If there was only Menards and no Home Depot or Lowe's, you'd pay out the ass. Yeah, you couldn't afford nothing there. So we need them all. Yeah, sanctioning bodies need each other. Competition is good. If we all went out and raced 3 guys, would we be happy? Hell no, we want to race as many as we can. Do we need more sanctioning bodies? No, we got enough. Do we need some rule changes? Hell yes. Will we agree with all of them? Hell no. But it is what it is. Now I know everybody's going to say, but Songer, you left such and such because of a rule change. Yeah, maybe so. But I left because it was better for me to leave. That's what I did. Doesn't mean that sanctioning body's bad. Doesn't mean the other one's better. Just means one's not great for me and one is. I'm good with it. If they aren't, I don't know. Do they miss me? Probably not. Do I care? No. But the whole point is, we need the sanctioning bodies we got. We need them all to strive. You need to support them both. If one sanctioning body ain't running, and you think your car might be competitive, give it a try. See what you can do. Maybe you'll like it. Maybe you won't. But you know what? We need to support it. If you don't support racing, it's not going to make it. That's a subject for another one. But yeah, you know what? I kind of miss this shit. See you next time. Hello, my guest today is with Lynton Jeffrey. You probably recognize Vortex Racing Products and a racer at the Knoxville Raceway. How you doing, Lynton? Good, thank you. Can you talk a little bit about your wing business first?
Sure. Vortex is it's originated in Australia, and we brought it to the United States in 2000, and really released the product on the market in 2000. I spent a little bit of time in Pennsylvania before moving to Iowa solidly in about 2002. But essentially, the wings were well established in Iowa or at Knoxville before anywhere else. It's been a great history that we've been fortunate enough to have with the Knoxville Raceway, and just a lot of success with the World of Outlaws and a lot of good race teams over the years. And I'm very proud of what we've accomplished with our product.
And then you have also prisoner relations with other people too, besides just you.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of different companies carry our product all over the country. Kading Performance and Highlands Performance out in Pennsylvania, Bruce's Speed Shop there in New Jersey. Just a lot of good speed mark out in Washington. We've had product at Smiley's over the years. Also, Speedway Motors, which everybody knows in Nebraska, has been a good advocate of our products. And, just apart from the race teams, we've got a lot of good dealers and distributors of our product as well. In Australia, we do as well. We have a good network there as well. Also, we have some distributors in New Zealand and Canada. So, for all the sprint car racing nations, we sort of have them covered.
Can you explain the difference to the racing over in Australia versus here?
Actually, racing in Australia is much the same as racing here. In Australia, we don't have big half-mile racetracks. About the biggest, fastest place there is. One comes to mind, but it doesn't run very often anymore, and it was kind of a bigger track. It was called Bacchus Marsh. But right now, today, we have the Kwinana Motorplex in Perth. That's probably the most professional track in the country outside of Valvoline Raceway in Sydney. They're both on a par with each other, really professionally run tracks. Everything that Barry Waldron does. He has a track in Toowoomba. I believe it's beautiful. I haven't been there. But he also has a lovely track in South Australia, Murray Bridge. So there's some great tracks. But to give you an idea, the biggest track would be about the same size as Charlotte Motor Speedway, which is 0.4 of a mile. And it's quite a fast racetrack, very similar to look at. Sort of around the same idea of having a drag strip in the back and very big professional concreted pits and lovely facilities. So we have great facilities and great racing. The only other difference really in Australia is the cars are a little bit friendlier to drive. They have the dish wings like the ASCS 360s do, and like we used to have pre-2008 or 9 when we were sort of forced to run flat wings. So the dish wings are a bit more fun to race, and they also use the better tyres, which are the RD tyres, D tyres, and high growth light rear Hoosier tyres. So the stuff essentially where they tried to manipulate the racing and the style of racing in the way that they tried to free the cars up the tyres and things today here in the United States. Those things haven't happened in Australia, and they still race the old school pre-2008. And I mean, my honest opinion is that the racing's more fun, and it's probably it'd be great for some fans in America to go down and see, and because I think they'd probably ask for it more up here. We have such great facilities in the United States. At Knoxville, and just the level of competition puts on great racing here for sure. I definitely sprint car racing is healthy, and I feel like it's still something that people want to take their family to every Saturday night here and all over the country. We have great facilities up at Jackson, Minnesota. Terrific racetrack up there now. Spent a lot of money. Todd Quiring has, and that's a great place to go watch sprint cars for sure. If you get up around that area or want to make a trip, there's a race here the week after next. Going to have a 2-night show there. It's going to be fantastic. So anybody's looking for a little trip away before the cold sets in, be good to get up there and watch a great race, sprint car race up there. I think it's the weekend after this one. So
your biggest thing you remember for, and you probably get asked a lot, the interview you did at the Nationals the one year.
The one where
you got
my buddy
by AJ.
Yeah, yeah, it was probably a bit hard, but it's a spirited thing. We're all passionate about what we do. We work hard for the Knoxville Nationals. We kind of all work towards it, and we probably take it way too seriously for what it is. But it just means everything to a guy to put it in that race. And when it's all over in the first lap of the heat race, you're not going to be happy about it. And I probably, I'm the kind of guy who says what he's feeling at the moment, and I tried to, tried to be as diplomatic as I could be, so that made it funny for the fans. And, I'm the kind of guy who tries to talk to the fans. I'm not really trying to talk to my competitors or, put my ego out there. I just really try to talk to that kid in the red hat that's sitting in the grandstands, want to be there and have a great time with his family, and, that people know that of me. I want to try and, explain what's going on in our world to theirs, and I think that's why I resonate with a lot of different kind of fans, and I appreciate all the support we get. So I just feel like that's the kind of guy I am. Try to be honest and try to say what I'm feeling at the time, but sometimes because I'm Australian, it comes out a little funnier than other guys. So.
And then, can you go back the first time you ever ran Knoxville? What you thought of the place?
Oh yeah. I mean, actually, I come here in 2000, and I was invited over here many times to work on people's cars, and I refused to come for that reason. I wasn't going to come until I got the opportunity to race. My dad came in here in about 1980 and watched the Knoxville Nationals. Brought me a little pen at home. I still have it. I had it on my wall my whole childhood, and I had pictures of those they were like calendars. I used to cut them up, and they had big pictures of colour print pictures of like Sammy Swindell and Steve Siegel, Bobby Allen, just Donnie Cried. So I just had Steve Kinder, obviously, different races, and that was what was on the side of my wall. Some of my buddies had surfing pictures or this or that or whatever, but I had that. That's what we grew up racing, and that's the pictures I had, and I always wanted to come to Knoxville. So finally, when I got here, I arrived in Glenn Freeland. A lot of people know him down in Knoxville. He's worked on a couple of Champions race cars, and he's been he's now an official down there. He's been around a long time. He's a great guy. Anyway, when I met him, he brought me down, and it was when they had Rag Bike come through Knoxville, and they had a big party down on the infield, and so that was my first time. And I took the minute to go up and sit in the grandstand. I can't remember, it might have been H or I or J or something. I sat up there and I just looked at the place, and I was so glad to be there. I'd be lying to you if I didn't say I had a tear or two. I was pretty emotional about it. I was going through a bit in my life at the moment at that time. My son had passed away, and I was just feeling a lot of it. But I was just so glad to finally be there to race. And I mean, the place has meant a lot to me. I've been really proud to race there. Since 2002 June when I kind of moved here. I did get to run the Nationals in 2000 and in 2001, but I wasn't living in Iowa till then. And I'm proud to have run the championship there pretty much every year. I've missed only one. We ran the Badlands. We ran 12 races that year, I think, which is more races than we ran this year in the championship at Knoxville. We're in the points. Missed a few races this year, but we still enjoyed supporting, racing there, and I really enjoy the fact that this community has always been good to me and supported us with our business, and I'm glad. I live 17 minutes from Knoxville Raceway in Prairie City, Iowa, so I'm pretty grateful when it all comes down to it. It's definitely a privilege to race there.
And your biggest win I know you have 4 wins at Knoxville. Probably your biggest is the World Challenge.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to win it in 2009, and I think it was in 2015 or 16, I forget. Yeah, I'm fortunate enough. I won two. Win the Summer Classic, which was the originated at the 1200 pound nationals. It was an awesome race to win. That was the first one I won. And, I'm proud of all the wins I've had there, but obviously winning in front of that Knoxville Nationals crowd on Friday night twice is something that I'll never be able to forget. And just very lucky and very fortunate to have been able to choose those nights to win. And hopefully, before it's all said and done, I'll maybe win one or two more. It's tough to win down at Knoxville, and some of the greats that have been winning for years and years and years and years find it very difficult to even get but one win a year now. It's tough. I mean, the competition's really hard. It doesn't make it easy when Brian Brown's as good as he is, and he's pretty much made it really hard for everybody to get any sort of more than one or two wins. So. He's really fast at the moment, very confident there, especially on a local night. But we need to bring it to him somehow, and hopefully we'll work towards maybe getting a win or two next year. And I mean, I've got a great team that I'm working with now, and it's the first time I've ever drove for someone else. Brian Ridge and his boys, Cody and Austin Miller. Have been, just our teams really gelled this year. We ran a second and a third, and I felt like we had good results. We were strong most every night that we were there. It was a lot of fun. Finally, not having to be the owner and essentially be responsible for everything. That took responsibility, a lot of the responsibility away from me this year, and it's been working well. It's good for me.
I got to thinking last year on the Wool of Olives night, you were smiling even though you got upside down.
What's that?
You were smiling when you got upside down racing Donnie Shots close.
Yeah, I think I bumped my head pretty good. But yeah, I mean, I was really, I tried to, be professional and kind of put it in perspective. Donnie Shots and I are really good friends, so to take a ride like that next to him, and essentially, a lot of people wouldn't be able to put it all together. They just want to blame somebody, and knowing him so well, he's such a clean race car driver. It wasn't very hard for me to put it in perspective very quickly. I knew I'd just taken a ride. I was happy to get out of it. And more than anything, I was just glad I sort of survived, because there wasn't much left of the race car, and obviously I knew the impact that I just undergone. So I really was pretty happy in that sense. But you just try to be, you can leave, you can blame everybody and blame the world for something going wrong like that. But in racing, even guys you really don't like, you'd never hurt them on the racetrack. It's just not who you are. We don't want to hurt each other, and we want to have a good time. Want to beat some of those guys that I don't like very much, but at the same time, I'd never put them in harm's way. Just not who I am. I don't want to ever, we're all not perfect, and we make mistakes on the racetrack. And Donnie Shots is the best in the world, and he makes very, very few. So when you take a ride like that, you could really find a way to try and blame him or something like that, but it just wouldn't be right. It wouldn't be true. And it just, as good of friends as we are, there's no way that he would ever want to do that to me, let alone even other races he's very competitive with that perhaps maybe he's not that fond of, So just not who sprint car racers are. We're gladiators. We put on a show. We want to win. It's hard and tough, but at the end of the day, there's no way that you'd ever want to put anybody's health at risk or hurt anybody. It's just not the way we really are. It's one of those things that happen in this sport. Unfortunately, you take crashes, and hopefully no one gets hurt. So
And then, are you going to be with the same team next year for sure?
Gosh, I hope so. As far as I know, I am. And, we just sort of gelled. I mean, we feel like we're having a great time. We're talking about what we're doing for next year. And so as far as I'm concerned, yeah, that's what's going to happen. Unless I do something silly between now and the end of the season to let them down or something. But I doubt that's possible. I mean, we're going to race some races here through the end of the year and finish up in Charlotte. And then I'll be fortunate enough I'm going to get to go down and race in Australia again at Christmas for 4 or 5 races, and then we're talking about hopefully starting our season off in Florida or Volusia, which is something I've dreamt of doing for many years, and love to get the opportunity to do that and race there. I've been there and watched so many times. Never getting the chance to do it, I'm excited for that opportunity. And if everything went to plan, I might get to do a bit of racing in Pennsylvania before the season opens and at Knoxville, and then we'll kind of do much the same as we did this year, depending on how we're running and how much time the boys have got. They've got a business too, and so does Brian Bridge, the owner. He has a business. So there's a lot of factors that play into what our schedule is. We try and keep it, have a schedule, but, understand we're trying to appreciate each other and what we've all got to accomplish in our own personal lives as well. So, I mean, the one thing that we haven't done this year, which made a lot of fun, was put a lot of pressure on ourselves to, be at Knoxville every week. We try to. It's their first year, and as a team, I felt like I wanted us to be competitive every day we went, really not wear ourselves out. So I feel like we did a good job because we're going to run here for quite a few races at the end of the season. To finish out, and like I said, I'm looking forward to going to Jackson in a couple of weeks. It's going to be a great race up there, and just be a good way to finish out the year before we sort of really commit to or find out totally what we're doing for next year. But at the same time, we are talking about it, and it should be exciting. I think we're working on some new equipment, and we've got some motors in the works. So there's a lot of good going on. I'm excited for next year. I think that we're building on what we did this year, and I think what we did this year was above expectations, really.
I have one more question for you. Where can they find your products at?
Oh, well, where can you buy Vortex Racing products?
And more information.
All right. Well, you can. I mean, I'm on Facebook. You can look at my page on Facebook. Vortex Racing products. But more than anything, people who want to talk to me about one of my product, it's a small business. We're very personal in the sense we have our dealer network, and so unless you're living in that state, if you're in the local area and this, I don't know what's the reach of this radio
all over
today?
The world so far.
All over the world.
Yeah.
So we're talking to everybody.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you call me, my number's, it's not hard to find, and I can help you with your wings, no problem. I mean, you can call any one of our dealers in the state of California, Washington, Pennsylvania. We have dealers in Ohio as well. So we're not hard to find, and with the internet these days, people find you pretty quick. And most people are welcome to ring me directly, and if you're in a state close to a dealer, I'll point you in their direction. As anybody knows, using Vortex, we're probably the most expensive wing on the market, and we're not really looking to save you a bunch of money. We're looking for you to win races, make a little money. Build you a part that's a premium quality that lasts a little bit longer, and makes your race car go faster. And you also have the ability to call us and our technical information for the rest of your car and help you get your car set up and going a bit better. And we can customize the wings to suit your driver's needs, or if you're the driver, I can help you, with what you're looking to do and where you're racing, and those sorts of things. Just our experience over the years of dealing with some of the best racers in the country. You know, fortunate enough to build wings for Tony Stewart racing and Donny Shots for many years. You know, had over, I think, 12 Knoxville Nationals champions and 10 World of Outlaw champions. So with Don, so he's won 10, I think. So, we're very blessed to have, Kyle Larson and different teams, Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s team. It's really been excellent just to have, this year we had David Gravel win the Knoxville Nationals on our product. So there's really no excuse for anybody to not give our product a go, other than the fact that if you're on a budget and you're not really, you're looking to get better, but you don't see yourself as a winning team, and you're just enjoying the sport. Other than that, I mean, there's no reason really to not try our product, because, it has all the runs on the board time and time again. And, and we want to help you get faster. That's our MO.
Thanks for joining us, sir.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate your time tonight and having me on your program. Good night.
Good night.
Welcome back to the Dirt Racing Podcast. We're talking shirts right now with Kim Stewart. How are you doing, Kim?
Hey, Marshall. I'm doing really good. We're excited to be here at Knoxville for the 16th running of the Late Model Nationals this weekend.
And you do outdoor as one of your tracks. Gateway, you're the official.
Yes, we do our dirt tracks. We go to East Bay Raceway Park in Tampa, of course, Knoxville, Iowa, Eldora Speedway, and then we do Five Flags Speedway in Pensacola and Worldwide Technology at Gateway, our asphalt venues.
Explain the process from design to getting to here.
Oh, gosh. Well, a lot of people, including my grandmother, just thinks that I just work on weekends. It's pretty long and drawn out sometimes. It's not rocket science, but it is very time-consuming. We come up with an idea. We take that to the artist draws it, it gets separated, we order all the shirts, it gets printed, they get delivered. People think I just work Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at Knoxville or the World 100, and in reality, I may spend several weeks leading up to the event. But we love it, and this is our 29th year of doing this.
And you have some of the nicest designs that I see everywhere I go, more and more.
Well, thanks, Marshall. We really try to do customer service and have a good quality product. And for you're kind of a special customer, and you tell me what you want, and we'll get that special shirt in for you, and kind of do a special order for you. We've been doing this. I said this is our 29th year, so we've seen a whole generation of race fans be born and grow up, and now we're selling shirts to their kids. And it's like going to a family reunion that you're excited to go to every week.
And you also had a kid one time raced.
Yes, our son Austin was a racer, and when he got ready to go to college, he told him he could afford college or racing, and he chose to pay for college at Purdue University. And he and his sister will both graduate in May. Lorna graduated from IU, and Austin graduated from Purdue. So we're pretty excited for our kids in May.
Yeah, and I know Lauren's busy with the former Mrs. Brian Clausen.
Yeah, Lauren's really busy. She's in nursing school. She's a dog mom to Chevy and Stewart. She helps her dad and I out a lot in the t-shirt business, merchandise business. She works at the hospital. She does some volunteer work, and she's also a race promoter, And, this is kind of funny. We don't sell shirts at her race. Lauren does her own merchandise at the Shamrock Classic. That's in March. So, yeah.
I don't know. Thanks for explaining to us real quick what goes on.
Well, you're very welcome, and we appreciate everybody coming out for the races, and have a good time, and we'll talk to you later.
Sweet show. Any complaints, comments, or questions, visit our Twitter page. I'm not going to tune in next week to find out we have a big guest on, and the whole episode will be on Magnet Motorsports. Thanks again for listening.
Thanks for listening to another edition of the Racing Podcast.